その日、世界中の人間はすべて石になった。
Hey fellas, today's recap is about the story of a teenage genius who got petrified by a mysterious light along with the rest of the world. He began to count and keep track of the years until he woke up 3,700 years later, only to find that the modern world was gone. Surprised, anxious, but excited, he promised himself that he would use his scientific knowledge to bring back civilization from scratch. But later in the series, he'll realize more intimidating dangers are lurking around, just to erase the whole civilization once and for all. So, let's uncover the story of a kid who made electricity and hundreds of other inventions in the Stone Age to revive humanity. Will he succeed, or will he turn back to a stone? Let's find out.
あれから何十年、何百年、何千年。いや。
After 5 years of extreme love and infatuation with his crush, Yuzuriha Ogawa, Taiju Oki is just about to confront her and confess his love, but suddenly, a green light turns every human on the planet to stone. Time passes and nature starts claiming the world and erases all traces of humanity. Even after being petrified, Taiju somehow breaks free and finds out that Yuzuriha has become a stone. He then meets up with his genius school friend, Senku Ishigami. He finds out that Senku has awoken 6 months earlier and tells him that they are in the year 3700. How does he know that? Well, he counted billions and millions of seconds until he woke up. Senku then decided to rebuild civilization in the stone world using the power and knowledge of science that they had from their past. Taiju also decided to help Senku, and after doing some science mumbo-jumbo, it took them 1 year and the two friends managed to create a successful blend of nitric acid and alcohol and called it the revival fluid. Now both Senku and Taiju are in pursuit of creating enough revival fluid to free one person from the stone. So, of course, Taiju is going to free Yuzuriha, but their plan is interrupted by a group of hungry lions that start chasing them. This leads them to revive the strongest fighter in their town, Tsukasa Shishio, who kills the male lion and skins it to add to his attire. Pretty badass, I must say. As Tsukasa proves to be a valuable hunter providing food for them, Senku assigns Taiju with harvesting seashells to create a material that would be the first step towards advancing civilization. However, interestingly enough, Tsukasa shows them his dark side and his intention to murder all petrified adults to create a world free of corruption, which ultimately clashes with Senku's ideals of reviving everyone. The tension between both men was rising, and Senku became aware of Tsukasa's murderous intent. So, he goes to the source of the revival fluid while sending Taiju to revive Yuzuriha. Now, he needed some science-based weapons to stop Tsukasa's murder spree, because he would never be able to beat the badass in hand-to-hand combat. Yuzuriha had already been revived, and Taiju was very happy to see the girl of his dreams waking up. Now, all of them traveled towards Hakone, with Yuzuriha managing to find the great Buddha of Kamakura, which served as a landmark for them. They ultimately reach a volcanic hot spring, which Senku intended to create gunpowder. After reaching the hot spring, Senku creates a successful batch of gunpowder, which Taiju accidentally lights up. However, the group finds out that there's smoke coming from a direction, indicating that there might be more survivors. Senku then boldly decides to light the gunpowder further to use as a smoking signal, leading Tsukasa to find him and use Yuzuriha as a hostage to get the recipe for revival fluid.
その女一人どうしようが1ミリも興味ねえや。メスなら他にいくらでも。
After seeing an innocent girl getting into the crossfire, Senku decides to give up his love for science and gives the recipe to Tsukasa for his selfish purposes. He was given a choice to either save Yuzuriha's life or pursue his passion for science, but being a man of his word, he prepares to die at Tsukasa's hands. Tsukasa seems to have a problem with almost everyone, but soon, we'll see his dark past and why he's the way he is. While it seems like Tsukasa killed Senku with a brutal blow to his neck, Taiju and Yuzuriha use gunpowder to set off an explosion near Tsukasa, which allows them to escape. At this point, they realized that Senku wouldn't sacrifice himself so easily as he was strong and smart. Then they discover a spot of petrification remaining on Senku's neck, letting them heal the fatal injury using the revival fluid. They turned his petrified body back to healthy flesh. And now we're taken back to Senku's past on how he got freed from the petrification and came back from years of being frozen to planning to build a world full of science. We also see how he made various tools for surviving, hunting, gathering food, and building a place to live. The flashback continues and it shows how Senku found Taiju and began working on unpetrifying him. Senku then wakes up and thanks everyone and the revival fluid to bring him back. Interestingly enough, this gives Senku a new challenge and a new fire to understand the properties of this fluid and why it works so well. But the problem is still there. Tsukasa is out there doing hideous crimes and now creating his own army so he can take over the stone world. So, to end this, Senku sends both Taiju and Yuzuriha to infiltrate Tsukasa's army as spies while he searches for new allies. Meanwhile, we are introduced to a new character named Kohaku, who attempts to attack the powerful villain Tsukasa. Tsukasa gets angry and traps her under a tree before heading towards the miracle water cave. Senku then discovers Kohaku and uses his scientific powers to create a block and tackle that allows him to lift the tree off of Kohaku. Kohaku then takes Senku back to their village, where they meet the two guards, Kinro and Ginro. They also meet their soon-to-be teammate, Chrome. While Chrome is a sorcerer, his attempt to do magic fails miserably, but Senku discovers that Chrome might be a very powerful asset to the beginning of this stone world's scientific discoveries. Impressed with how far Chrome has taken his craft, Senku decided to invite Chrome to be his apprentice. Seeking this, Chrome instantly agrees. Senku finds out that Chrome became a sorcerer to help Kohaku's sick sister, Ruri. Senku then tells them about the world that existed 3,700 years ago and decides to help people from this village develop an antibiotic to save Ruri. It's a simple solution, but the advanced civilization didn't even know it existed. Now our heroes are on a mission to create antibiotics for the sick Ruri. So, Senku, Kohaku, and Chrome begin searching for the elements needed to create the antibiotic. They are then aided by another villager named Suika, since they need more manpower to turn iron sand into iron. The gang then sends Suika to gain intel on what the villagers truly want, so our heroes can gain their trust and get their help to the fullest. Finding food was a common problem there, so Senku managed to use a foxtail millet to recreate ramen for everyone, which won everyone's heart. Now, at least, they had a lot of manpower to create the basis of the medicine. While everyone is eating ramen, the gang is approached by Gen Asagiri, a revived magician from Senku's time. Tsukasa sends him to confirm Senku's death, but he claims that he will give a false report instead. As everyone started turning iron sand into the iron, Senku took advantage of the thunderstorm to turn it into powerful magnets. At the same time, Gen uses his magic to ward off a violent villager named Magma. The gang uses these magnets to build a power generator, which leads to the invention that you all might know is a light bulb. Now we see Gen's past, and suddenly he gets attacked by a mysterious person. He barely managed to survive, and it was due to the fake blood bags he had protected himself with. Ultimately, finding out that the culprit is Magma, who believed Gen was a sorcerer instead of Senku, he gets mad. It was all Magma's ego and his willingness to win the battle, because he was pissed due to his inability to marry Ruri and become a village elder. Now they get ready for the grand bout, and Gen gives a false report to Tsukasa after Senku promises to make him a bottle of cola. Senku uses quartz sand to produce glass and the glasses for the short-sighted Suika. After some time, our heroes want to make reusable lab utensils, and Chrome isn't capable enough to make them, so he brings out someone named Kaseki, who's a skilled craftsman, and helps them. Senku then offers to make Ginro a silver spear to carry out his difficult mission. The silver spear that Senku made is also revealed to be a sensor to detect poisonous gas coming from a pool of sulfuric acid. This is exactly what they needed for the antibiotic. Knowing the risks involved, Senku offers to teach Chrome everything he knows about science if he survives, but Chrome refuses. He wants to team up with Senku and go through the trouble together. While gathering the acid using their gas masks, Chrome nearly falls into the acidic pool but is saved by Ginro. After getting their ingredients, they start producing other elements for the antibiotics. So they needed to gather alcohol for the remaining elements. To get it, Senku joined the grand bout, which offered alcohol to the winners. That's where he's greeted by Ruri. At the same time, one of Magma's henchmen kidnaps Suika, ties her to a tree, and tells Kohaku that Suika is drowning. On the other end, Kinro faces off against Magma in the round. Suika ultimately manages to escape and notices Kinro struggling with his vision. So she gave him her mask containing lenses for her glasses. Magma ultimately gets defeated. Magma then tricks Kinro into consulting the referee so he can attack from behind and win. It's a semi-final where Chrome confronts Magma. Chrome uses his own sweat with Suika's glasses to create a magnifying lens, ultimately starting a fire. Gen then returns and uses his sorcery to distract Magma long enough that Chrome sets his clothes on fire and ultimately wins the match. After Chrome's match, Ginro informs Ruri that he and Senku will throw their matches so Chrome and her can be together. But that's where Ruri says that she'll marry whoever wins and won't pick a side. Now Ginro is desperate to win against Senku and be the new chief, which everyone is worried about. But Senku uses Chrome's weapon to hit Ginro in the balls, ultimately winning the match. But since Chrome passed out before the finals, Senku became the winner, Ruri's husband and the village's chief.
皆の者、千空、この男こそ今日から石神村の新しい王様だ!
He also won the alcohol he needed, and after working over the night, the gang completed the medicine, revealing that Ruri had pneumonia. So they gave the sulfa drug to Ruri in the most interesting way possible that gave her full recovery. Soon after, Senku finds out that the village name is called Ishigami Village, just like his last name. Ruri reveals that she learned Senku's name through a tale that was passed down from their mother. She also talks about Senku's father, Byakuya, who became an astronaut with the help of Senku himself. It's revealed that 5 years after passing the exams, Byakuya traveled to the International Space Station, and at that time, everyone on Earth turned to stones, leaving only 6 humans left. Byakuya then found out that the phenomenon originated in South America and then the whole world. He then went to Earth to help them, living with them in nearby land, forming relationships and raising children together. As the crew died from pneumonia, Byakuya wrote the 100 Tales, which were the knowledge he wanted to pass on to the future generation. Now, moving back to the present, Ruri takes Senku to the village's cemetery where Byakuya lies, and he gets the 100 Tales as a gift from him. It was a very emotional moment for our MC. After some time, Gen warns Senku and the others that Tsukasa and his army are coming. Now we see a new character named Hyoga who easily beats Kinro. Senku, Gen, and Magma convince Hyoga's group that they've already produced a gun, which ultimately leads them to retreat and get scared. However, 3 days passed and a storm occurred where guns would be useless. That's where Hyoga's team attacked again, only to discover that Senku and the team created a bunch of katanas. But Hyoga was a powerful foe with his technical spear skills. However, with the sneakiness of Gen, his spear breaks in half. Hyoga then reveals that his attack was merely a distraction, so Homura, his ally, could sneak into their village and set it on fire, which forced the villagers to go out in the open. To protect the Kingdom of Science, Suika manages to successfully lure Hyoga's troops from the village and Homura from the poisonous gas from the acid pool. Hyoga then pushes his teammates off of the trees, and they are instantly killed. Now, Senku needed to build a cellular phone because Tsukasa's army had already grown so much, and communication is an advantage in warfare.
好きだなスマホ雑頭大樹がさんざっぱら欲しがってたスマホがついにマジで爆誕だぞ。
After reaching their cave, Hyoga tells Tsukasa that Senku is still alive. Senku and the village started working on making a cell phone. To manufacture it, they would need many interesting materials like wiring and more. In this pursuit, Senku creates a cotton candy machine to test some stuff. Meanwhile, Homura is spying on the Kingdom of Science to see what they're making. The progress was going well as everyone was working towards gathering material for the cell phone. Using the new water wheel that Chrome and Old Man Kaneki made, he automates the iron-making process, which frees the villagers away from manual work and prepare for the harsh winter. So, Senku, Kaseki, and Chrome started developing light bulbs for Christmas by decorating a tree. Chrome uses his new invention to explore deeper caves, where he finds minerals, while Senku and Kaseki try to create a new vacuum tube. They're all enjoying making these inventions in hopes of creating the cell phone one day. Now Senku, Chrome, and Magma realize that they need tungsten, which can potentially be found in a nearby cave. So they reach a mica vein cave, where Senku is about to fall into a sinkhole along with Magma. Chrome then saves both of them by filling the sinkhole with water. They hurried to the village after finding a deposit rich with minerals, but they were getting late to celebrate Senku's birthday. After they came back, Senku was stunned to see that the villagers made an observatory for Senku while he was gone. Senku then showed a pile of tungsten for final preparation and crushed it into a fine powder. They then did some more interesting science stuff to create something called the tungsten filament. This was all to make a cell phone and its various parts like the microphone, batteries, and body. All our heroes finished their assigned tasks to make the first modded cell phone into the stone world. To everyone's disbelief, Senku revealed that they needed 2 cell phones to make a full working system. After testing the cell phone across a wire, Ruri tells Senku one of the 100 tales, which hints towards a time capsule sealed in Byakuya's gravestone. The capsule contained a glass record. This was created by Byakuya to be able to record his voice to communicate with Senku across thousands of years. And it was the first time Senku heard their voice, as well as a song from Lillian. The song inspired the youth and everyone's will to create a scientific world. With all the passion flowing around, Senku announced his stone war against Tsukasa and began planning to use cell phones to prepare for the upcoming attack on Ishigami Village. Stay tuned for Season 2 recap. See you in the next one. Peace!